Welcome to the Whiskey and Wisdom Podcast, coming to you from the Cargo District Recording Studios in Wilmington, North Carolina, where we discuss the most fascinating topics of life. I'm Tyler Yaw with my co-host, Chris Kellum, and each week we interview a special guest to learn how they acquired their wisdom over a glass of whiskey. So, sit back, pour yourself a glass, and enjoy Whiskey and Wisdom.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Whiskey and Wisdom Podcast. This is your host, Chris Kellum, with my constant co-aggravator.
You can call me that too, Tyler Yaw.
And this week we have somebody who's been in the community for a very long time, working around, doing a bunch of stuff down here. And what was your name, sir?
My name is Christian Cardamone.
Cardamone?
Cardamone, Italiano.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say cardamom.
People say that a lot. Like the spice?
Yeah.
Say if that works for you, then yeah.
Nah. We'll call you the right name.
Yeah, thank you.
Christian. But like Tyler mentioned a while ago, he was down in South Carolina, Charleston, checking out distilleries. And he brought us back some Firefly whiskey. It's one of their blend. And it's one of the fun distillery expressions. It's 90 proof. Super classic, very cute, small bottle, only 375 milliliters. I never understand why it's in milliliters and not ounces. Because if I go to the bar and make a pour, it's like, oh, do a half ounce. They don't tell me how many milliliters to pour.
Yeah. Got to do the conversion.
Stupid mess. But let's check it out. See how you like it. Tell me what you think, Christian.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. I give that 2 thumbs up. Definitely.
It's smoother than you think it would be.
Yeah.
For a 90 proof, it definitely,
Right.
usually coughing and hacking or get like a lazy eye after a 90 proof. That's pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah.
It has a lot more flavor than I was expecting. So my tongue was adjusting and absorbing all of the flavors in there. It was good. I would suggest it if they keep making it in the future.
Can you buy this in North Carolina or is it just South Carolina?
That's a great question.
Weird like
You used to be able to get Firefly.
Yeah. So most of the Firefly can be bought in North Carolina now. So that bottle in particular, they're discontinuing. So I'm not sure if you can buy that in North Carolina still anymore or not. But I know some of these other bottles that you have seen or will see on the podcast, you will be able to buy in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Fireball.
Correct.
Right.
The distillery that's...
Ugh.
Yeah, we don't want to cross that.
No.
Yeah. Don't want to mix those up.
No. Firefly is really great. They make a lemonade vodka, but you have to pick it up in South Carolina because they can't ship it across borders because it changes the flavor because they use real lemons.
Interesting.
You should try it if you're ever in South Carolina.
All right.
But I just want to do a shout out. Thank you. Sorry, we have technical difficulties. I just want to do a shout out to Sway Creations. Creations for helping us make sure we look really pretty, make sure Christian looks amazing.
Thank you.
And helping our podcast and social media is looking top notch. If you guys got any questions or want to step up your game, check them out. Use code WISDOM. But we're going to go into fun stuff now.
Yeah. Without further ado, Christian, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. I'm a brand new dad. That's kind of the biggest thing in my life.
That's
Congrats.
exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. She's 13 months old, and it's been the most insane year of my life.
Yeah.
I'm fortunately married to a beautiful woman who helps me take care of this little child. But I've been in Wilmington, moved from upstate New York in 96. So I'm kind of the hybrid local.
Yeah.
I went to 1 year of high school here, and it was all new to me. So I decided to stay, went to UNCW, stuck around, decided to start up my own business and get into real estate, and kind of the rest is history. So it's been I've had a great time living in Wilmington. I love it here very much. So I think this is awesome that you guys are here planting your flag and spreading the word, the gospel of Wilmington.
Yeah. Thank you.
And my voice is not normally this deep, but this is good for me.
Yeah. That's perfect.
I'll come through as a real tough guy over there.
Yeah.
The audio.
Man, I thought he was 6'7",
You're right.
Yeah, they look the short little bald guy.
Yeah. 220 pounds, 6'7". Linebacker.
Yeah.
So you went to UNCW. What'd you get a degree in? Anything fun?
I thought it was fun. It was communication studies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it's basically because I was basically every major you could be. And I just kept pivoting every semester. I'm also horrible at math. So that kind of ended up pushing me that direction. I was going to go business first, and I'm so bad at math that I couldn't get through. So communications was the path of least resistance.
Okay.
And it turned out to be a good fit. I really enjoyed it. So that's what I ended up graduating with 5 years later.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm sure many people don't think communications and real estate being in the same thing, but really it all being in real estate is communications.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about relationships and the way you can read people, interact with people, and help serve them, really. So
Correct.
it's not all like verbal, it's nonverbal, there's like broadcasting elements of it. It's a cool discipline. And the more I got into it, I kind of wish I'd started there sooner. And I was looked into doing like a master's degree at some point in that same vein, but my mom did that. And so I kind of got to see that whole curriculum through that lens. So I went a different direction, but
Yeah.
You're like,
see that.
yeah, I'm good.
yeah,
And so you started investing in real estate while you were in college?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So how'd you start out while you were in college with kind of the time and money and all of the things I'm sure a lot of people ask, right?
It was great. I just got a student loan. And then instead of paying for my college, I went and had a down payment on a house.
Awesome.
So I bought this like little shanty right over by UNCW. And at first I rented the whole thing out, and then I was renting on the beach. So this is great. They were paying my mortgage and paying my rent on the beach. And then ultimately, a couple years later, I moved in there, rented out the rooms, and got a vibe for being a slumlord, kind of dug it. and then just went from there, started kind of trying to collect and got licensed. And it was just something I've always wanted to do. So
Oh, that's neat.
I jumped in head first.
Yeah, exactly.
I still will never understand why I can get a school loan, but I can't get a mortgage at 18.
It's crazy. They throw money at you for student loans. And I mean, I guess it's an investment in you, but these things are like, mortgage, they need like blood sample, stool sample, everything.
Right.
And it's like, otherwise just say I'm going here and sign here, and then here's this much money. It's crazy. But so I kind of took advantage of that.
That's
Used my
smart,
first
yeah.
Sallie Mae check and bought a house. So. And the return was much better than it probably would have been if it went to my
To your school.
schooling.
Yeah, clearly. It's funny because if you would have done that during your time, just went to the bank and be like, hey, I found this great property. Like, can I have a loan? They'd be like, hell no.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I was just like doofus little 18-year-old. But that was kind of the start. I got that first house, and having other people pay your mortgage for you is kind of it's the premise of real estate. It's
Right.
like you got to pay rent somewhere.
Yep.
You're either paying it to a landlord or to yourself. And eventually the house is going to get paid off. So you might as well have someone else do it for you.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like it was rocket science to me. So
And then, so from that point, at some point, you ended up with the whiskey.
yeah.
So how did the transition go from just having a small house and renting that out one-to-one and then getting to the point where you're running your own bar?
That was, I think, the year 2001 we started it.
Oh, okay.
And I was bartending downtown and in the like nightclub scene. And I thought I was the coolest guy ever,
Yeah.
And we kind of like same thing with real estate. We started realizing how much money we were making for the guy that owned this club. And I was like, why don't we just do this? Let's start our own club.
Yeah.
And we were all musicians at the time, so we figured we have a place to play music and chase girls and get ripped. And
Yeah.
so we kind of bootstrapped the money together and found this little venue right at the corner, Front Market. It was awesome. So it was a big transition from working at a bar where you leave at 2 and
Yes.
not a worry in the world, to owning it and running it. And then we had some crazy ideas on what the theme was going to be originally. And ultimately a buddy of mine suggested the whiskey because it was like timeless, And I'm so glad we did that because some of the other ideas we had
Not so much.
They wouldn't have had the legacy that the whiskey has. So
Like what?
one of our partners want to call it the Regal Beagle, named after like a Three's Company.
Yeah.
And then we had some other like dumb names. That was probably the dumbest one. But
Right.
yeah,
I mean, if you lived in the city where Three's Company was filmed, it would make more sense.
totally. It'd be like a homage to that
Yeah.
or whatever. But down here in Wilmington, it wouldn't have been a good fit. So, yeah.
But I love the whiskey. Me and Tyler were going back and forth because Front Street has gone through so much change.
Yeah.
even in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked back, I'm like, oh, I've been drinking for at least 15 years now.
Yeah.
And it's seeing all of the rotation. Cause I remember I turned 21, came back from basic, and we went to River Rat and jumped into the whiskey.
Yeah.
Cause if you're bored, whiskey had some really good live music throughout the week. And then you could just go next door and be like, okay, well, I want to, if I can't get a drink at this bar, I'll just walk in here and get another one.
Nail a couple shots, then go back to the River Rat.
Yes.
Yeah, our kind of signature thing was we had this thing called the special. So for $5, you got a shot of Evan Williams Green Label and an Old Milwaukee can. Nice. Man, but we had
Good special.
People would come in and get these raging degenerate alcoholics would come in during the day and get that. And the college kid, we wanted to make it affordable.
Yeah.
Right.
Because $5 or $6 was the high end for a drink back then. It was
Yes.
probably dating myself, but yeah, it was the golden age of downtown. In my mind, at least. It probably wasn't, but in my mind.
I mean, I would say it was part of the resurgence because downtown went from what it was from years and years ago when everything was there, and then it kind of fell off.
Yeah.
And I feel like your business was one of the reasons that kind of brought people downtown to give it more of that resurgence to where it's at now.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it had that.
You're welcome, Wilmington.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it was just, college night was a thing back then. Everyone goes out and it's all you can drink, or Long Island iced teas were the thing that people drank. I don't know if they still do that anymore, but we just started the bar because we wanted to work for ourselves and we loved music and whiskey and just having it was a boys clubhouse for the longest time. We would sleep there and stuff. It was crazy.
Was there an upstairs to that, or you guys just had the bottom floor?
We had the bottom floor, but the second floor, there's a 3-story building.
Yeah.
The second floor was just bombed out open shell space. So that was where we would sneak up there and dirty deeds done dirt cheap. It was awesome. And then going on the roof for the fireworks, it was climbing up this inverted ladder through a scuttle hole. It was lots of scrapes and dings. And
I can believe it.
It's a good time though.
That's awesome.
For some reason, I love those stories because you don't think of that. When I think of downtown, I just think of people just getting plastered and doing stupid stuff in alleys.
Yeah.
But your story reminds me of something I would see in a TV show or a movie where oh, hey, we had a bunch of friends that got together.
Yeah.
We bought a bar and we went from there.
It was really a great experience, start to finish. We made it through. We ran it for 5 years. Nobody died. No lawsuits. One little IRS hiccup that we got through. And then we sold it to some of our dear friends who ran it and even just elevated it to the next level, started getting in bigger bands. And then we sold it again to another gentleman who had it for a couple of years. And then ultimately they just had to shut it down because Jim Goodnight bought the building and then they rehabbed the whole thing.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was just it was sad, mainly because we lost a great music venue downtown. It wasn't a big room, but it was a great stage. It sounded good. And there's not a lot of small to medium-sized venues to see music.
Right.
No.
So that sucks. But hopefully we're getting places back that are a little more friendly because we have an awesome music scene here. So
Yeah.
We really do. You're saying that and I forget that there was live music up and down the street for years. And now it feels like there's one or two spots. I love, because we were talking earlier, what Eagles Dare is doing right now.
Yeah.
Because they're doing summer concerts. And I'm that's what we need is there's so many musicians that they need a place to show up.
Yeah. And there's big venues, which are great, like Greenfield Lake and the Pavilion, but there's not a lot of there's not a shitty dive bar to go see a great rock band.
Yeah.
Yep. Reggie's is a great spot, but it's midtown.
Yep.
But downtown, there's all these, everyone has a theme now. So they'll have someone maybe show up and play acoustic or a duo. But if you want to just go out to have dinner and see a rock band, there was no place like that.
You can't just roll in.
No. So
It's funny you mentioned that too. I was literally just having that conversation before we stepped in here too, that the only thing that you can really listen to in Wilmington right now is real small, acoustic, solo duo type of things going on. And they all sound very similar-ish, the folky country type of thing too. You don't have a true rock band venue anymore.
There's a few, I went to some, but they're not in the spots where people assume. You have Reggie's.
Yeah.
And then the other place I was at, Cody's.
Oh yeah, Cody's.
Oh yeah.
Down at Monkey Junction, and there was a rock band playing a long story as to why I was down there. But
Yeah.
I'm like, these are spaces, but they're not advertised.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sucky.
If you're into the scene and you're into music and bands and following them, you'd know about them, but just average Joe.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're not going to be walking down on Front Street and be like, oh, what's that band in there? And walk into it.
Exactly.
None of those type of venues.
Yeah. But,
kinda
it's all right. Well, someone will pick up the torch soon, I'm sure. And
Yeah. They'll find the need for it and it'll get in there.
yeah.
So completely off of those topics, you also had a boat charter company.
I did. Yeah.
See, that was the one thing I didn't know anything about you.
That was like a little blip on the radar, but it was super cool.
So how did you get started in that then?
We went down to Fort Lauderdale. My sister used to live there.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went there and we were FaceTiming with my brother who was in England at the time. And they lived on the 23rd story on the New River. And he was looking and he could see a boat going by from the FaceTime. And he's like, wait, put the camera on. What is that? And we zoomed in and it's this like floating tiki bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a Cruise and Tiki. So we are like, he's like, when I come to visit you guys, we're going to charter that thing. So a year later, he comes back, we charter it. And the whole time we're on there, the captain, he actually built it. And he's like, yeah, I sell these things. And so we were, had a couple drinks and we're like, we're buying one. And so we did. We bought it and brought it back to Wilmington. And he asked us to be part of his franchise. And we're like, we're just going to start our own brand. Like, we don't want to kind of be beholden to that.
Yeah.
We think we can kind of do it. And we don't want to have to like call down to Fort Lauderdale when there's an issue. So we started our brand. It was Aloha Tiki Charters.
I've seen that.
And it was,
I saw it.
It was just awesome. I mean,
That's so cool.
We had it for two and a half years. We ran charters, 2-hour charters around Wrightsville Beach. And I have my captain's license. So I drove it for a while. And yeah, just like great. I mean, when I retire, I just want to be a boat captain.
Yeah.
Totally, 100%. But
I mean, you could retire now.
He has
I'll have another drink.
You're right.
Yeah.
He has a child now.
Yeah, exactly.
It all changes.
The ante has been upped a little bit, but
So with the tiki, did you guys sell that off or did it just COVID hit?
no, we did. We sold it perfect timing. We actually sold it back to the manufacturer
Okay.
and did really well with it, and just decided to sunset that. And I think we bought a piece of real estate with the money, but it was another like situation where business started. A lot of fun growing it, and they had like a great exit, and check the box and on to the next one. So
Yeah, that's neat.
yeah.
So you're the person I need to go to for, what's the name of the fancy real estate? I'll come see you one day.
The fancy real estate?
Well, no, because there's like traditional real estate, like houses and
Commercial?
Thank you. In my head, I was thinking cosmopolitan. I'm like, that's not the right word.
No, commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian's the guy for that.
Yes. So, which is my transition. So you went from buying houses, being a landlord. We're not going to call you a slumlord because you weren't a slumlord, but you're in commercial now.
Yeah.
Do you mainly commercial or do you a mix of both? Like what's your...
I don't know, maybe like 60-40 commercial residential. So I do like my day job is I'm a broker. So I help people buy and sell houses.
Okay.
And I also help investors buy and sell commercial real estate. So I enjoy commercial real estate more just because it's a bit less emotional. It's more properties based on most of the time income and certain other features versus like, the beautiful chandelier or, the open floor plan.
Yes.
It's just, I'm not like the kind of guy who can walk in and sell that dream to somebody, but I can help someone. I enjoy helping people make money on real estate more. So commercial makes that easier for me to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So, and that drives me because commercial has always been so confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because buying a house makes plenty of sense, but commercial real estate falls under like, sorry, if you can't talk about this, just be like, but when you get into commercial real estate, you help people. Do you do mostly just buying the whole strip mall or do you help people like get in and rent those properties and locations?
I do both. So like in the commercial real estate world, you can be a broker for buyers and sellers. You can also be like a tenant's representative. So I can help people go and find a new studio or a new doctor's office. Or if someone has a property that's vacant, they want me to find them a tenant. We do that as well.
Or like a bottle shop or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's cool. I enjoy that part about it because then you get to help people start their business. And like, that's their dream most of the time, what they want to do. So to help foster that, the genesis of that process, I think is awesome. That's been like my favorite part about being in this neighborhood, because it's all young entrepreneurs and hustlers like you guys that are here and just building something out of nothing.
Yeah.
I think this is amazing.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why we stepped into this space, is because it was like when you get into a property or get into a concept, having people around you with that same energy helps you grow. Like, I feel like it's very hard, and there's people do it all the time, but it's harder for you to get commercial real estate or like open up a business in a spot that's dying and like elevate that location versus being in a spot that's has that up and coming feel. Yeah.
And this neighborhood has been kind of an anomaly in its own right anyway, because it's like just in the weirdest spot, but it is kind of like a bridge between downtown and Forest Hills. So you've got the demographics and the people passing through, but the nice thing is, when the tide comes in, all the ships rise. And so everybody working together in this neighborhood, that they might experience a lot of the same issues. They can talk to each other. They can work together. The collaboration element is like huge here.
Yeah.
People do that. And social media obviously is like a massive tool for all that, but it's crazy. When I first got here, seeing some of these, I say kids just because I'm not that old, I don't think, but I see these like young people starting businesses just like off of Instagram pretty much. And they've got droves of people coming in. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. This is amazing. Yeah. And so it's just been like a tidal wave of that. And so I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. But.
Yeah. And you've been around this since like the inception, right? With CoWorks, and then kind of growing that way, and then Aloha.
Yeah. So I came up here to work one day at CoWorks on a recommendation of a buddy of mine. And it was just like, holy shit, I've lived here for a long time, and this is like right in my backyard. Yeah. So I wasn't really a believer on it at all until I got here. Yeah. And so I started working at CoWorks, and then I met Leslie, and we hit it off really good. And he's like, hey, you want to help me out manage my stuff? And so I was like, of course. So we did, and that's when my management company kind of got elevated. We grew and more into commercial real estate at that point, because I was just doing residential management. And then we stepped into commercial pretty big at that point. And now we manage the whole neighborhood, all the properties that they own, and we have some of our own. So it's cool. I think it's cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah. It's been nice to see the growth too. I mean, we've been here for a year, and just seeing like the spots and locations just kind of add new energy and new tenants, I guess. Because I feel like this location, despite what some people might think, gives an opportunity, I guess, for people who would not normally have that option to have like a storefront.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's part of the equation, I think, is making it a low threshold of entry for people to have spaces like CoWorks or some shared office space where you can come in and, you don't have to go and rent a freestanding building for $5,000 a month and then pay utilities on top of that and then fit it up and everything. So here they make it easy to like just step right in. And we have so many businesses and tenants that outgrow their space, which is the goal, exactly. Kind of like incubate and develop and grow. And so they might jump to a different property in the neighborhood or a different building or something like that. And we make that transition very easy for them with no penalties and stuff like that. And that's cool, because people who may have never started a business then can. Right. And some of them are just wildly successful. It's awesome. So.
I mean, you say that and you're drinking some drinks over here.
This stuff. Yeah. Have you guys had these?
We had them on the podcast.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I'll have to listen to that one. I didn't even know that. Shout out to Drinks.
Exactly. They're fantastic.
I was like, when I first met them, they're tremendous people. I love them. But I was like, Drinks? I don't know. Yeah. And now my accountant's like, what the heck is Drinks? Because basically it's like my 401k is drained, because I have probably 5 a week. They're amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I'm very happy they're here, and those are April and Joey are two people that are like testament of success in the neighborhood. Yep. Yeah. Started just with great attitude, work ethic, and then outgrew their space. And now they're like taking over. They're awesome. They deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of proves the point that if you have a hard work ethic and you have a great idea, and especially having an incubator place like the Cargo District, being able to step in and just being able to take off like that and show what hard work can do for you.
it's great. And that's, like you said, if you were just out down the street, you know, on Oleander, you wouldn't have that. So,
Yeah.
or somewhere downtown, maybe has that on some level, but this is like really like a weird community of people that like everybody, you guys were probably the last two that I hadn't met.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen you like in passing, but that's why I was excited to be a part of this. So thank you, by the way, for having me. I didn't say that at the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's fun because like this is a space that draws people in and they see new venues and they're like, oh, well, this was here a couple weeks ago. And you're like, well, they expanded.
Yeah.
And so, well, now they're down the street or they moved to this location.
Yep.
And I think it, like you said, it's a true testament that this like co-works and all of the cargo district is just a good spot for growth.
Yeah, man. It's cool.
So something I just saw today, actually, it looks like you're also speaking at the UNCW's Integrated Marketing Communications event they have on June 1st.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be there as well.
I'm glad I the email today.
Yep.
Yeah, I did too. And I was like, oh, shit, I totally forgot about that.
Don't worry, I did too.
Yeah, Chris just had made that face.
I saw you guys on there. I was like, all right, fine, this will be great. We're going to we'll get through it together.
Right, exactly.
But I'm happy to contribute. I don't have anything like planned or anything. I just kind of, I'll show up and answer questions and participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, as long as you're reinvesting in your community, I think it's a great thing.
Totally. Yeah.
Especially because you're a graduate and alumnus. Is that the right word?
I think it's alumni. Or
Well,
all of them.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's nice. I hate when you graduate and you're like, all right, peace, goodbye, and you don't reinvest because then the schools start charging people more and more money. Like if we reinvested it, give it more reason to come back.
Yeah. It's a great university too.
Mm-hmm.
The experience was probably more beneficial than the actual piece of paper.
Yeah.
Although I know it's like tough as shit to get into UNCW now. So
That's
now
what I've
we're-
heard. Yeah.
Now
So
I'm a fucking
hard.
smart guy here because I got a degree from there, but I could never get in now if it was up to me. But I think giving back to stuff like that, UNCW is important. So
Yeah. Wilmington's doing a good job. And I think Cargo District's part of that too, just giving them the ability to actually stay in Wilmington now.
yeah,
Because just even when I graduated, there wasn't many opportunities to stay. So it's exciting to see that grow too.
yeah. I mean, for the longest time, it's like you're either retired or you're like a mortgage or a real estate person or you're like in healthcare.
Yep.
That's it. And there was not, or you worked in like service industry.
Yeah.
So now we have some more industry here and the university helps with that, on some level. But now we can become a real city.
Right. Exactly.
Look and stay.
We were talking to somebody about that a couple weeks ago where like Wilmington is in between. I feel like we're in our adolescence because like we've grown up, died, came back, but we're in that spot where we're trying to figure out who we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, well, we would love to be Charleston,
Yeah.
but we really don't want to be Myrtle Beach.
I agree.
I mean, not that Myrtle Beach is a bad place to visit, but it's a place to visit. And I would love Wilmington to be a spot to visit, but also to like do a bunch of local things.
Yeah. It's between the river, the historic downtown, the different beaches we have here, and then little pocket neighborhoods like this. It's really, I've traveled a ton, probably. I think I've been to like 25 or 26 countries and this is always where I want to call home for sure.
Yeah.
So, because I like to do rabbit holes, traveling, you've been to more countries than I could think to visit. What was your third favorite country to go to?
Third favorite?
Yes.
Well, I got nostalgic when I was listening to Joe's episode because I went to Morocco a couple years ago.
Did you? Yeah.
And it was, I followed his trip when he was, through the internet.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking crazy. It looked cool, but I went by myself and
nice.
I stayed in Marrakesh for like a week. That was my third.
Okay.
Yeah. How'd you find Morocco? Did you just like throw a dart at the map, or is that a place that you were wanting to go?
I've always wanted to just go to Africa.
Okay.
And it's like, that's probably the easiest point of entry to Africa because it's not like a 40-hour plane ride. And
Right.
my brother was living in the United Kingdom at that point in time, so I was
It's
over
easy
there. So
then.
it was actually like really easy to
Yeah.
do. But it was a crazy place, man. It was like the square in the old city in the Medina was like, you just walk down and there's like fucking king cobras everywhere. And like,
Oh, wow.
it was the most insane place I've ever been in my entire life. So I was like kind of terrified, very stoked to do it.
Yeah.
My whole family's like, get the fuck out of it. Come home. I can't believe you're doing this. I just started dating my wife, and she's like, oh my God, my like boyfriend's in Morocco. What's going on? But it was a lot of fun.
I think how are we going to get his body back?
Exactly.
I always ask that question. Well, I change it up.
How do you get your body back?
Well, if I've told people before, if I die overseas, just leave me there. But I ask, like, everyone always automatically thinks, like, what's your first, like, what was the best place you went to? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, of course it's the best place because it's all this. But, like, when you got to break it down, I want to ask, like, what's your third favorite? Just like when we try and figure out what's our, like, top 5 whiskey. Yeah. It's trying to figure out, like, what's number 3, because you got to figure out, like, what's number 2 and 1.
Yeah. Well, every place has different features and things. Like, if you want to go, like, my favorite beach places or my favorite mountain places or my favorite, like, hiking places or whatever. So every destination has something different. So kind of have to quantify it a little bit. But I went to Cuba. That was a really weird place.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
I've been to like a communist empire. So that was very unique.
One of my buddies was there not too long ago, and he said as soon as he landed, it felt like he like stepped back into like the 1960s.
Totally. Yeah. I mean,
aren't like half the cars there from like the 60s?
Yeah. They're like the revolution happened and it froze everything in time. So it's nothing new has come in since then because of the embargo. The only things they have down there, it's weird because you'll see like a 57 Chevy that's like gorgeous.
Yes.
Held together with like peanut butter and bubble gum. But then there's tons of Russian and Chinese influence there. So there's lots of like Soviet cars and stuff like that, Soviet, Russian. And it's weird because some of the architecture there is the most beautiful Art Deco. And then you'll see like the most terrifying communist buildings down there too, like right next to them. So the dichotomy is crazy, but yeah, definitely a time warp.
Yeah, that's crazy. He said there's some badass mechanics down there too, because they're all older vehicles. So like you have to be.
I mean, they have to be. They're like the most ingenuitive people.
Right.
Got to work with what you got, man.
Exactly. That's cool. What kind of gave you the travel bug?
I've always been interested in, I love flying on airplanes.
Okay.
Are you a pilot yet?
No, that's on my list. That's my kind of bucket list.
That's my list too.
And I can't wait. I just, with the daughter, I gotta like, can't tap out just yet.
Right.
So I got to give that a little while. And I'm hoping that like, I won't be too old and crusty to get my license by the time my daughter's, out of the house to do that. But I've just always been interested in new cultures, new places. And going back to the whiskey days, we used to, for spring break, we'd close the bar and we'd all drive to Orlando and fly to Costa Rica to go surfing. Oh, neat. All of us as a group. We did that like every year. So that was probably one of the first places we went. And then I just was like, this is awesome. This is cool. So
yeah.
It's interesting too, because like you hear about these countries that are really close to us, but you don't think about them at the same time. Yeah. It's like, oh, Costa Rica. It's like a hop skip.
Yeah.
Away
it's
from
pretty easy flight to get there.
What's your guys' third favorite destinations?
Good question.
Or fourth?
Well, so for me, technically, I've only like stayed in 3 countries. So my third favorite would be Afghanistan.
There you go.
I mean, I touched down in Kazakhstan, one of those like as a country north of it. Yeah. And then I was in Argentina.
That's cool.
When I was a kid. And that was a blast.
Was it?
Yeah. I think because I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
So I went in, played basketball, and, did the thing that the churches do. Just hung out. I was like, this is the most beautiful, because we stayed outside of Buenos Aires.
Oh, yeah.
And just driving into the city, it was just fun to see like the dichotomy.
Mm-hmm. That place has been on my list to go. Rio and Buenos Aires seem like 2 really cool places. They're really far away, but that just seems like a different world down there.
It is, but the flight wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. Like that was the first like actual long flight I took, and that was not as bad as I expected.
Yeah.
We did hit some heavy turbulence.
I'm sure. Mine would probably be Mexico. Yeah. There's some nice places there, but then there's some not great places there. So that's kind of why it goes like down to third.
Yeah. Mainland or Baja or mainland?
So the main way that I went in is I was a DJ on a cruise ship for a little bit.
No way.
And yeah, so it's not as fun as it sounds.
Oh, it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, we got dropped off like near Cozumel.
Okay.
So the whole like cruise ship route.
Yeah.
And I didn't have much time down there, so there wasn't a lot of like stuff that you could do. But of course, like you get off with all of the other people that like know what they're doing, and you jump in some like random taxi and you don't go the tourist route.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, taking me back.
Yeah.
Okay, I lied. It's Mexico.
Yeah.
I forgot I went there for my honeymoon.
Oh, well, there you go, man. You forgot. I hope your wife
I was going to say, I was like, Emily, don't listen.
Well, no, because we landed, got in the cab, and went to our hotel.
Okay.
So it was more like, oh, hey, we're in a great location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my head was just skipped over it.
There you go. Well, it's on record now.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Love you, babe. So,
Real quick.
go ahead.
So it's your first Mother's Day coming up soon.
It is. Yes.
Any big plans for the wife on that one? You don't have to say them because she might listen. But.
Exactly. So,
This will be
Actually-
after Mother's Day.
Oh,
This is
that's
my-
right. Yeah, this will be after Mother's Day.
yeah,
that's
this
a good point.
Well, this was my second Mother's Day. 'Cause our daughter was
True.
born in April, but the
Oh,
first,
that's
the first
right,
Mother's
yeah.
Day was like we were still like triage, like just fucking let's survive.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I was able to get away without a major gift for that one, but yeah, I have something working in my head. It's just I'll work on it later.
We'll work on it.
He works at Reed's.
Yeah.
Come see me.
Yeah.
Father's Day is coming up. What would you like for Father's
Yeah,
Day? Is
true.
the question.
You know what I'd like? It's on the list there. The
Right.
the Submariner is calling.
It's surprising. Like when we get into watches, everyone's like, "Oh, can I get one?" I'm like, I don't think you realize, one, how many people want that watch, and two, how many of them I see a year.
Yeah.
Very few.
Sadly,
Yeah. That's got to make it tough. I mean, you got,
yeah. Well, and because I've talked to people who've traveled the world and been like, "Oh, well, I could get this watch here, but I have to spend this much money."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to tell you got to spend $150K to get a watch that's 10 grand.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like, okay, cool. If you're going to wait, just wait. I will get it for you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you you need to spend this much money and you'll get it faster because it's not going to happen.
I'll probably get it like right when I get my pilot's license.
Right.
Like 20 years from now, I'll be like, thanks, guys. This is great.
Well, technically, if you're getting your pilot's license, you would want a GMT
Okay.
because that watch was actually created for pilots,
All right. That's good to know then.
which was a very interesting story to learn about. Have you ever heard about that?
Mm.
Yeah, so that way they could keep track because they all base their timing off of GMT, so like true Greenwich time.
Yeah.
So they would set their watch and move their bezel so they knew exactly when that was, and no matter when their flight took off, they were always on time.
Yep. Don't want to be late.
That's good to know.
Yes.
We can update my profile. It reads so I can be on the
Yeah.
list for one of those.
You can either have the Submariner, so when you're out chartering your boats,
Yeah.
or the GMT
Exactly.
when you're ready to fly the plane.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And for those
Gotcha.
listening, I don't have a list. It's a pool of interest.
It's a pull of interest.
But you now, as we're transitioning, we left the country, we're coming back.
Mhm.
You currently own Design Works in Kent Station?
Yep. Kent Street Station. Yep.
Kent Street. I couldn't find that thing to save my life.
Well, they're the best kept secrets in town. So
Ooh, good
Design
one.
Works is the big building right next to Carpet Smart.
Okay.
So you got all the container homes right
Yeah.
here, and then Carpet Smart, and then the big warehouse right next to it between Carpet Smart and Family Dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fuzzy Needle record store is in the front. And it goes all the way from 16th to 17th Street.
Okay.
And we've got a bunch of small businesses in there.
HP Fangs is in there, who we
Yes.
also had on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's in there. We've got Peace Rose Montessori School is in there. They have like a
Oh,
kids
okay.
program in there. Then we have Nomadic Blooms is great. She just moved in. Rivenbark Candle, Wahoo Screen Printing, Beast Behavior, Bookworm Pottery,
Yes.
South Castles. We've got a bunch of just really creative people in there, and it's neat. I like it just because they're way cooler and more creative than I am. So I just by proximity principle, I try and feed off it a little bit. But
Right.
it's a really cool like kind of a maker space, if you will.
So when are you going to buy Family Dollar?
Man, I would love to. It's, I think
Perfect spot.
it's great. It's huge, and it's just but the people that own it aren't interested in selling it. So.
Yeah. I keep thinking because I have things in my head all the time. And I tell Tyler, I'm like, it'd be nice to open up this, or what about that? Ooh, what if we did this? He's like, no.
Is that kind of how your brain works too as an entrepreneur? Like, what's the next best thing like we can get into? Because it seems like you're the true like serial entrepreneur, right? You build it, you do the creative part of it, build it up, and then sell it and move to the next one.
I'd like to collect more than sell, but that's kind of what I enjoy doing the most, I guess, is like the development side of it.
Right.
But it's mainly if I can take a physical building and find ways to chop it up or increase the density there, the units, and so it becomes more profitable. That's great. But building like the community and stuff inside, I can't do. So I've found that just like finding the right people to cultivate that is the way to do it.
Okay.
So, because I can't really, I'm like not in the scene with some of these people, so I don't speak the language, but they go in and they have the pride of their business and their ownership, and then they can help spread that through a building or like a neighborhood, basically is what has happened here. So doing that like on a individual basis is what I enjoy the most. So that's what we did with Design Works, and then with Kent Street Station, we're developing that. It's like a executive suite building. It's right behind Drinks. If you take a cut through Kent Street, it's a big white building, and we've got like, 12 or 13 tenants there. And then there's a new garden shop in the back called the Moss Street Mercantile. The Three of Cups Club is over there. It's a really cool studio. And
I see the sign for Three of Cups. And I'm like, where is this building?
Yeah.
What do they do?
They create pottery and art, and then they do some yoga classes there. There's 3 or 4 of them in there now. They're very talented, but they're also very smart, business savvy individuals. And so that's a perfect example of a group that came into a property and they turned their space into something I could have never done. But I knew I wanted to have them there. So when we finally connected, I was stoked, and it worked out well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining where Kent Street Station was, because every time I drive, like I see your post and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool location. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know where that is.
Yeah. Once you see it, it's like, oh, if I can drive by that thing every day.
Yes.
Right.
But if you take like Queen Street, I always cut through Queen past Co-works across 17th, and I take the little cut through, and then you drive right by it. It's on the left, and then you come up to Wrightsville, and that's where Drinks is on the left too. So it's like the secret little cut through.
Yeah. I've taken that a few times. It's 19th Street is the one I have to turn off on, because it's between like a bunch of cute little houses.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some guy that lives there on the corner and like collects trash. He's got like 4 trailers and like 1,000 washing machines.
Oh, wow.
He's got it going on.
There you go.
Hey,
So
going with the cargo theme.
there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you tell us what your next venture is going to be?
Next venture is I'm still continuing to help people buy and sell real estate. So always looking for individuals to help with that, and looking for more property around here to help kind of develop. And I'm kind of just along for the ride with, Leslie so he's like the visionary for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I love to support him and help, he can think of it and build it, and then I can help fill it and get it profitable. But I've got some new construction stuff I'm working on, developing 2 pieces of land off Wrightsville Ave that we'll be kind of releasing those hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months. So, and then I'm just trying to enjoy my life as it's getting shorter every day. Just spending time with my family and my daughters. I'm trying to make my career veer that way as much as possible.
So that leads into my question, which I always bring up near the end. What does success look like for you?
Success for me is being able to do whatever I want to, whenever I want, without having to ask for permission or spend 2 months planning for it or anything like that. If we have the opportunity to go somewhere for a weekend or a month or something like that, I think having your life situated so you can operate in that manner, to me, is success. If you've got it dialed in like that, and you've got the people, support, and systems to allow you to maneuver, then you're not chained to a desk, working for the man.
Exactly. I love it.
So, yeah.
I love that.
So Chris is trying to open a bottle shop. So if you have any pieces of real estate that
or just help me figure out how to open one.
Where do you want to do it?
I have a lot of
Soda
ideas.
Pop District would be perfect.
Well, I said Soda Pop because it's just the name, Soda Pop Bottle Shop.
Yeah, works well together.
Soda Pop Bottle Shop.
Yeah.
But I looked, Castle Hayne doesn't have anything. But the question is like, there's one in Wrightsboro, which is like right off the strip. But technically Wrightsboro is a good 5 to 10 minute drive from true Castle Hayne.
Yeah.
So my brain is always like, ooh, what can I do? But the problem is getting in before the explosion of the location. And the question is, when will it explode?
That's like the last frontier.
Yeah.
Castle Hayne is like, that's it, man. And it used to be like the boonies, and now it's happening.
It's slowly like creeping in, like the tendrils are expanding out that way.
Where else are you going to buy land that close to Wilmington?
Totally. I mean, it's like a 5-minute Uber from downtown from like Front Street.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll talk, man. I'm happy to help you out. We'll find a spot.
Scotts Hill's another good spot, but it's Scotts Hill. There's,
What part of town do you guys live in? Not specific addresses here. Oh. You could have some stalkers listening, but
I'm in Leland.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm over the bridge.
Gotcha.
Is there a shop out there?
Bottle shop?
Yeah.
There you go. You should put one out there too.
Brunswick County is like one of the fastest growing counties in the country. So
Yes.
you have everything working in your favor right there.
I just hate going over the river.
Yeah.
I'm one of those
It's
people.
not bad anymore. As soon as they put 140 in, it's easy. I go over it every single day. MLK,
Yeah.
easy breezy. I take that any day of the week because I primarily work in Mayfair. So I'll take that any day of the week as opposed to coming from Monkey Junction where I used to live, driving into Mayfair.
I agree with you, man, because at least you can fucking smoke versus
Exactly.
like stop and go the whole way and trying to like,
And try getting stuck behind a bus.
I live in Castle Hayne.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. I told my wife the week we moved, actually like the week before, I'm like, hey, I'm finding a local bar. And I tried a spot and I was like,
Maybe not.
I don't feel comfortable here.
Maybe this is your opportunity. Just if there's not one there, create one.
That's been my thought process.
Yeah.
But then
That's
my
how the
paycheck
studio happened.
Yeah. My paycheck looked real nice at my current job. And I'm like, do I really want to leave that? So that's why I
ways
just
around
go
that.
to the Starling all the time.
Yeah. Well, makes it easy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we do have one last question for you before we let you go today.
Okay. Thank you.
If you were to tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
I would tell myself that the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
I think, we all worry about some of the smallest stuff. And I think looking back, some of the biggest problems are just like such an afterthought now that it's years in the past. But yeah, man, the best is yet to come.
That's great. That's unique too. We haven't had that one yet.
100%.
Good.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask my last question because it's the month of May.
Okay.
What's your favorite burger joint in Wilmington?
Oh, man. The one at Beach Street is pretty righteous. I will say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that one the first time the other day.
It's a fucking monster. But I think Sam at the mess hall, man, he changed the game. Winnie's was cool. Everyone gets stoked on Winnie's. And I heard someone on your podcast say the one at Yosaki, which is actually the heater too. But Sam's got it going on. Mess hall burger, you just got to clear your schedule for the rest of the day after.
Right.
You got to go comatose after that. But
Yeah.
That's a fact.
yeah.
I love their new location. It's right by Drinks also.
Yeah, that same area over there. So when you go to Mess Hall, make sure you check out Drinks and then go walk by the Kent Street station.
There you go.
We'll have Sam on here eventually.
Yeah, we definitely need to bring Sam on.
I imagine he would be a trip.
Yeah.
He's a wild guy.
I haven't tried to invite him because of all of the labors that they've put in getting this new shop open.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah. But that's kind of what this is leading to, is to do a month of just people who own burger shops.
I'm pretty sure Chris is trying to have a month long of burger shop owners. So.
You're a smart guy. You're come on in, bring your burgers, we'll eat them, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like whiskey, wisdom, and burgers. There
Yes.
you go. For the episode.
Wagyu.
There you go.
There you go.
We'll find a steak shop one of these days. But thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great.
Do you want people to follow you on social media? Where would be the best to shout out your businesses?
I'm not sure. It's at Aloha Wilmington Real Estate
Yeah.
is our property management company. We just do commercial property management. And then the Christian Cardamone team, I think it's Team Christian Cardamone is the real estate sale. So if you want to buy a house or sell a house. And then my personal one is Captain Cardamone.
Yeah.
You just want to see the weird shit that I do every once in a while. I'm not like huge on social media, but if you want to go
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, if you look at some stupid pictures of me playing in my band or something like that.
Right.
Aye, Captain. Wait, what's your band?
Well, the band is the Flannel Rebellion. So
Oh, okay.
it's a grunge cover band.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been playing together for like 12, 13 years now.
Wow.
A bunch of old guys. We just still try and rock as best we can. We're going to get put out to pasture soon, but not yet.
Nah, you got plenty of time.
You got plenty of time. I
Yeah.
mean, you still have those bands that are, turning 60, 70 years old, and they're still out there rocking. You got
That's
plenty
it.
of time.
I always said I'm never going to be like a 40-year-old guy on stage. That's like embarrassing. Now I'm like, almost 44, like fucking, let's do it.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Yes.
it's fun.
Where are you guys playing in June?
So Memorial Day is May. Is that this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's this month.
Playing at the Sea Witch at Carolina Beach.
Okay.
Oh, heck
Play
yeah.
there.
Actually, I'll probably see you there.
Play there, I think, on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. We just play like every 4 to 6 weeks, so we don't because we're like a cover band, so you don't want to
Yes.
get bored of seeing the same thing. I think 7 Mile Post in June.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of just play like Sea Witch, 7 Mile Post, a couple places like.
That's my side of town.
Is it okay? Yeah.
7 Mile.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Most of them also my clients.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very cool.
Anyways, thank you for coming on. I learned so much.
Thank you guys for having me. It's
Yeah,
a
definitely.
good time.
Fun times.
But yeah, check them out. Follow them. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And
Yes.
my favorite thing is to leave a really good 5-star review. But if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Agreed.
As per my mama, who will be on here at some point in time.
Right on. All right, fellas. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks.
you.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.